Good afternoon, children. I welcome the 10th class students once again to the social studies class. Today, in continuation to the previous discussion, last part of the Himalayas, advantages of the Himalayan mountains to India. This topic we are discussing today. In the earlier class, we learned where are the Himalayan mountains are located, what is their length, what is their width, and what does they contain. That three things we learned. Today we learn advantages, or that means benefits of the Himalayan mountains to Indian lands. Right. Number one benefit is safety from giant winds. Safety from the giant winds. That means Himalayan mountains are giving the safety from the giant winds. Giant winds means from this side, from Central Asia or from China side, the cruel winds with a great speed, the winds blow from towards the India. Then that carry out all the soil along with it, that damage the Indian land. Therefore, these mountains, these Himalayan mountains, are breaking them here only. The Himalayan mountains breaking these winds blowing from there. If these Himalayan mountains are not there, the winds would have been blow into India and damage all these plains and other lands also. All the soil, fertile soil would have been carried away. Thus, the Himalayan mountains are giving a safety now. Because the Himalayan mountains are here, the winds are not entering into India. They are breaking there only. That is called safety from giant winds. Second point, continuous water to the river Ganges. As these mountains land surface covered by ice and snow, the great Himalayas and the lesser Himalayas land surface covered by the snow and the ice. So this ice continuously falls there. That is the nature. This ice and the snow convert into water and provide the water to the river Ganges that is flowing from here. That is covering Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand and Bihar, and then towards the West Bengal. So, if this snow ice is not there, this Ganges river would have not been any water there. So this river also would have been depend on rains, dry in the summer season, unlike Godavari and other rivers. So, but now this Himalayan mountains, the snow from the Himalayan mountains and ice from the Himalayan mountains converting into water and supplying the water to the river Ganges continuously and throughout the year. So that is called continuous water to the Himalayan range, Ganges, river Ganges. This because of this continuous water, the people in this area, Uttar Pradesh or Himachal Pradesh and other states are producing the power, electricity, and also irrigating the lands, are doing the agriculture, great agriculture they are doing because of this water in the river Ganges. Now third point, depositing the alluvium soil or alluvium to plains. Plains means here, this land is called plain. Whenever the water that is flowing from the flowing from the Himalayan mountains is also carrying the powder type soil that is called alluvium that contain great minerals that required for the plant life. So this the water that as the water is flowing from the Himalayan mountains towards the plains, this water consisting of the alluvium or alluvium soil and depositing in the great plain. So this great plain is very much famous for agriculture because the fertile soil is very much needed for the great agriculture, or it helps for the great agriculture. Fertile soil help for the great agriculture. So that is that type of soil is provided by the rivers that is flow from here, while the water is flowing towards the plains. Now, fourth point, rains in summer. So, because of this, these mountains are located here, the winds blow from this side and they are being broken in the summer season. These Himalayan mountains broke those winds which fill the water from Arabian Sea and cause the rains in summer season in other all parts of India, particularly in the plains. So Himalayan rivers are causing the rains. So that means in summer season, in April, May, also sometimes we get rains. Those rains are caused by the Himalayan mountains only. Fourth point, evergreen forests. These Himalayan mountains consist of, or because of the continuous water or swampy area, this area filled with the green forest, all this area filled with the green forests. From these green forests, we are getting the a strong wood that required for building the companies, or we call it the teak wood, a strong furniture. So that wood we get from evergreen forests only. Not only strong wood, they are also providing the medicinal plants also, that Ayurvedic medicines, used in the Ayurvedic medicines. Thus, evergreen forests are very much useful for the mankind, for providing strong wood and medicinal plants. These forests are remained there because of the Himalayan mountains only. After this discussion about the Himalayan mountains, now we are coming to the second below area, that is called Great Plains. Plain means a level land. This is a level land. This line stands for land level. That means it is not. It is a land surface is very level. No up and downs. Now, if we learn about the plains, if we study about the plains, this plains is divided into three parts. That is, one is called three parts. One is called western part. One is called central plains. Another is called eastern plains. Western part or western plains, then central plain, then eastern plain. Here is the western plain, western plains, central plains, eastern plains. West plains, central plain, from here to here, eastern plains. All this. Now, let us know. All these three parts, the land surface is plain only. But if we come to details about these three plains, western part is this land is drained by or supported by for its water by the Indus river Indus. Western part is supported by the Indus river for agriculture. That means this western part we find Indus river that flow from Pakistan and enters into India and cover the states of Punjab and Haryana. The supporting rivers in India, join the Indus river are called tributaries. Rivers join the Indus river that flowing from the Pakistan into India. Later other rivers join there. They are called tributaries. They are called Jhelum, Satluj, Chenab, then Ravi. These are the tributaries rivers. So Indus river is supported, joined by other rivers that are called Jhelum, Satluj, Chenab and Ravi. These rivers are called tributaries. So what are the tributaries of Indus river? Jhelum, Satluj, Chenab and Ravi. So this western part is covered by the Indus river or supported by the Indus river or drained by the river Indus. Central part. This is the central part. This central part is drained by the river Ganges. Here, Ganges river. And also another river that is Yamuna that flows from the somewhere in Tibet. It begins in Tibet area and flow into India through Himalayan mountains. It joins the river Ganges. So this central part is totally drained by the river Ganges and Yamuna. And this water is used by the states Bihar, mostly Bihar and West Bengal, partly Haryana and Punjab also a little bit, but mostly UP, Bihar, West Bengal. So that means in this area we find UP, then Bihar, then West Bengal. So the river Ganges supports the UP state, Bihar state and West Bengal state. Now coming to eastern part, this is the eastern part. From here to here, eastern part. Now eastern part is the river that flows in the eastern part is river Brahmaputra. This also starts somewhere in Tibet and flow into the state, join in the state of Assam and drain that area, that state. So this eastern part is drained by the river Brahmaputra and covered the state of Assam. Now lastly, extreme eastern part or extreme east part here. It is in the Shivalik range. Here we find the Shivalik range, or this is part we call extreme eastern part. Here no river is there, but only streams are there. Where canals we call. So only canals we find that by the rain and hilly area. So only streams we find. These streams covers the states called Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur. Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur and other states in the east. These hilly area. So this the land surface is not plain. It is composed of hills. So this land does not support the agriculture. As there are hills are there. This area is not much useful for agriculture. If the farmer wants to do agriculture, they must clear the hills and the forests. Here a marshy forest will be there. Marshy bushes, small plants will be there. They must clear only. Then only agriculture is possible here. So that is the, about the Greater Plains. Once again, Greater Plain is divided into three parts: western part, central part, eastern part. Western parts drained by the river Indus and its tributaries, covers the Punjab and Haryana. Central part drained by the river Ganges and Yamuna, cover the UP, Bihar and West Bengal. Eastern part drained by the Brahmaputra and covers the state of Assam. Extreme east, no rivers, only streams and covered by the hills, so agriculture is not possible. But here, great agriculture is done in this plains because of the great rivers of Indus, river Ganges and river Brahmaputra. Okay. Today I shall WhatsApp you what all I taught you. I have taken from the textbook pages only, and the points I discussed you, I'll WhatsApp you, and then you cover them, you copy them in the FAIR Social Studies notes book. Okay. Thank you, and submit me.